Welcome into this week at the Dirty Pocket, where football gets messy and we talk about it. I am joined by my partner in crime, the Scout, Daniel Kelly. My friend, how are we this week?
Hey, doing pretty well. Thank you, Stacy. How are you?
I'm doing good. We got to cover what's slowly becoming a tradition on the Dirty Pocket. I don't know how this happened, but it's happening. What are we drinking tonight? It's a little after 11:30 Wednesday night out there in the Florida Keys out here in Portland, Oregon. It's a little after 8:30. I am killing it with some water.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
Living on the edge.
You're walking on the wild side tonight, Stacy.
I'm a wild man.
Absolutely. Well, what we got going down here in Key West, Florida is we got some Rockstar going. It's the perfect bedtime treat. I like to suck down one of these right before bed. A lot of people do just the opposite. They have some warm milk or something to drink. Well, this is what's in my baby bottle right here, this Rockstar. So that puts me to sleep pretty good. So my kids always say, Dad, don't do it. Don't drink coffee. Don't have the energy drink, because I'm known to have more energy about people half my age, Stacy. So this guy puts me over the top. So let's put the ball on the team. Let's get going.
I got to tell you, man, I never would have guessed you would like energy drinks.
That's so weird. It's so strange.
If only
give me fuel, give me fire, give me that which I desire. I mean, yeah, absolutely. It's odd. It's really strange.
Oh, man, 11:30. If only all of us had that kind of energy at 11:30. Just what you need, an energy drink. Great.
I know. I've been writing articles all day. I've been up since 6 in the morning. I mean, I take a nap like John Gruden.
An initial shot at Chucky to start the show. Okay, let's start there. We're going to talk about this week's big games as we do every week. And I had 2 or 3 that I targeted that I wanted to run by you and go a little bit deeper on. Let's just start there. You just took a pot shot at John Gruden, who many feel now might be one of the most overpaid coaches locked in recent memory.
Everybody in the NFL is overpaid, Stacy.
You only say that because you're not working there right now.
Yeah, but I'm the guy that's going to be 100% commission as a general manager. I'm going to have a Super Bowl or bust deal where I only get paid if my team wins the Super Bowl. I'm not taking more golden parachutes or salaries for losing for years or salaries, millions of dollars for tanking or anything else the rest of these guys do. I'm going to get paid 100% commission, be the first GM in NFL history to do so, and revolutionize the pay scale in the National Football League.
Wow. Okay. So that's a subject for a podcast all on its own, because I think there's a couple clubs, one in Houston, one in Jacksonville, that might just pick up the phone and give you a call on that.
Hey, I'm ready to go. I got a huge plan, a revolutionary plan. So it was 166 pages I produced for Jimmy Haslam with the Cleveland Browns. And I can win Super Bowls, as in plural.
Okay, the man has a dream. We're not going to try to steal it. Okay, let's jump right back to the Chargers Raiders, the Monday night game. I got to tell you, man, a guy that I really was high on, and I told friends was going to be a better pro than college player, Justin Herbert, and man, was I right. I'm gonna wave that flag as long as I possibly can. He is an epic talent, that kid. But what did you see in that game, Chargers versus Raiders, whether it's Herbert, Derek Carr? There's been a lot of fallout between some of the players. Let's talk Monday Night Football.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what I saw when I went back and looked at the highlights of that game, because believe it or not, I don't have enough time to watch every game every week. Sometimes I have to cheat and take the cliff notes off the games and do the highlights for 12 minutes. But what I saw in the highlights, Stacey, was I saw that the Chargers looked like a machine. I think they were very functional, both offensively and defensively. They had a nice run game going with Austin Eckler. They had a nice, the tight end 87 there, caught some passes. Herbert looked good. I love the left tackle that the Chargers drafted this year. My LT1, Rashawn Slater. He's a cross between Jim Lachey, for those of us who are old enough to remember Jim Lachey, and Riley McKenzie. He's a technician. This guy's a 10 to 15 year, probably going to have a yellow jacket on him someday. if he can avoid the injuries. I mean, he handled Chase Young in week 1, and he came back and handled Micah Parsons week 2. I mean, this guy's really plays the part well. But I thought the Chargers looked good. I think the Raiders, to me, looked disruptive as a football team. Obviously, they were coming into this game undefeated. They dropped the game to the Chargers. Both teams now 3-1, right, at this point. And, but I think, it's kind of wild, because when I was watching the game, I had this thought go through my mind, Stacy, and I'm sure you won't like this at all, but look at the wall, guys. Look at his wall with that young blood jersey up there.
That's
what
right.
happens if it's a Los Angeles Super Bowl? I mean,
what, you don't think I've thought of that? Oh my God. I mean, SoFi Stadium, the NFL, the second largest media market in the country, Rams Chargers, good. Man, that would be an incredible game. But I'm also not going to look you in the eye and say I wouldn't be worried, because I think Herbert and, believe it or not, Joe Burrow are the two top young quarterbacks that we're seeing in the NFL right now. You could throw Lamar Jackson in, but he's been around a couple of years now. I'm going with guys in their second, third year. Mm-hmm. That game was incredible. Herbert had some passes that were really impressive, particularly out of the backfield to Eckler, that just blew my mind. The touch on them in stride. He's just incredible. He had a toss to Parham, the tight end, in the back of the end zone to start the scoring. And I got to tell you, man, that guy is a stud of a football player. Love the way he carries himself. I think that he is the future and face of this league. And I just don't see anybody outside of the Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen type molds in the AFC that are really going to challenge him at this point. I think the sky's the limit with him.
Yeah, I know he is playing really well right now. Of course, I'm old school like you. I still can't wrap my head around Chargers, Cardinals, actually being serious contenders, just from the folklore of the past. But, this definitely could be something to keep an eye with. The Chargers is always a thing, of course, in the National Football League. We see it every year. It's that little sneaky something called peaking too early. So there's such a thing, but so far so good for the Chargers. The Raiders definitely are off to a much better than probably expected start as well. But yeah, that was a good game, and the Raiders made interesting all the way down to the end.
Yeah, I thought it was a great game too. I think the Raiders have made really demonstrative progress since last season. You can see that they're a better team. Maybe it's mentally, certainly physically. I'll tell you though, just back to the Chargers for a minute, and my concern as an LA fan with them in the market. And let me just ask you this. Did anybody have a better draft than the Los Angeles Chargers? You pick up Rashawn Slater, who I agree with you is looking like the best offensive lineman in a landslide out of that draft. And then they come right back and get Asante Samuel Jr., he's just a playmaker like his father was. He was making play after play the other night on that Raider receiving core, although Hunter Renfrow is a stud. That fake punt that he sniffed out in the tackle was unbelievable.
That was a nice shot.
Yeah, but I got to tell you, man, those Chargers had the kind of draft that it reminded me of the 70s Pittsburgh Steelers when you're picking up Mean Joe Green, Franco Harris, Jack Lambert. You're going, how are they doing this? I got to tell you, they look real, real good. The Raiders, they still look like they're searching for talent, particularly in the secondary. I just don't know what that team is doing, and I'm curious to see what Mike Mayock and John Gruden can do from here after taking their first loss. But it was a heck of a game. What'd you make of Bosa's comments post-game, taking a pot shot at Derek Carr? Like, you hit him. He's kind of a scared guy. We had him rolling up in the fetal position back there. We knew that about him. He gets scared pretty easy. Derek Carr today comes out and goes, "Yeah, I'm pissed off. You shouldn't have said that. See you later in the year." Old school.
Old school. It's kind of like the grocery store tabloids when you check out,
The Inquirer.
The Inquirer, inquiring minds want to know. It's one of those things that, they used to say back in the day, it's bulletin board material for the locker room. These guys go back and forth, but, hey, it is what it is, and it'll just make the rematch that much more interesting.
Can't wait to see it, man. Can't wait to see it. Well, let's move along to what many people thought was the game of the week.
Epic.
With Tom Brady versus Bill Belichick, the Bucs versus the Patriots. I don't want to say a word. I want to ask you, as somebody who's worked with Bill Belichick, been on his staff before at your time with the Jets, what did you see in that game, man? Because you made a prediction last week that definitely came true, and I've actually heard some other analysts commenting ever so subtly on it the last couple of days. But what did you see in that game between the two Titans?
Well, I saw a star was born. I'm a huge Mac Jones guy. Pre-draft by QB2, real close horse race finish between him and Justin Fields by QB1, and I gave Fields a slight edge because of the athleticism and the true dual threat ability he brings to the game. But Mac Jones, I loved him at Alabama. People said, it's the receivers Smith and Waddle. They made his career there. He's just nobody from Alabama ever does anything. Kind of like the Ohio State comments. And of course, they don't make those comments about BYU quarterbacks, but nonetheless, they said, the Alabama kid, he's not going to do anything. And it was funny because I watched this progress, and they came out. I wrote an article today, in fact, for Draft Diamonds about Mac Jones, and easily clear cut, I should say, rookie of the year candidate as far as in my mind right now is Mac Jones. I mean, this is a guy that, they said he's had the bad pro day, if you remember that, the bad pro day, and everyone's like, yeah, and Shanahan was there, and he was kind of unimpressed, and that's when the Trey Lance thing started, and the pro day, and I sat there and just smiled to myself. I said, because you know what, Nick Saban and Belichick are really good friends. They used to be on staff together back in Cleveland, and I have a feeling that they're cooking up an inside joke here where they're going to make Mac Jones fall to 15, and sure enough, they did. And there was Mac Jones, and Bill Belichick all of a sudden looks like the smartest man in the room again, smartest man in the National Football League again, which is my article today. Because here's Mac Jones. He comes in the preseason from the first snap against Washington in the preseason. I looked at this guy, and I looked at my wife at the sports bar we were at here in Key West. He took total command in charge of that offense from the first snap. He was like signaling out. He was doing this stuff with his hands and his head. I mean, he looked like a veteran quarterback from the first preseason game. He has continued to look like a 10-year veteran as a rookie. Going back to unpack this game, against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I thought he gave Tom Brady everything he could handle. He stayed in there. Even after the interception, he came back. He fought back. He made some really nice throws. He had Chris Collinsworth going crazy by the end of the night because what he did is they kept trying to bring heat in his face, and he just slides and he moves. And he slides this way, and he just hits those passes. Extremely impressive showing by Mac Jones. Just like the Green Bay Packers went from Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers, the New England Patriots have gone from Tom Brady to Mac Jones, much to the chagrin of the New York Jets. Sorry, Jets fans. You had to watch it with Tom Brady for 20 years. You're probably going to have to watch it with Mac Jones for the next 10 to 20 as well. I can't say enough good things about Mac Jones. And the entire New England Patriots team hung in there. They gave the Buccaneers everything they could handle, and had it not been for that doink at the end of the game off the goalpost, 56 yards. I was rather surprised he actually didn't go for it on that fourth down, as I know some people are out there, but didn't quite pull it off. But hey, what an incredible performance by Mac Jones. What an epic game build-up. I had said a lot of people gave me a lot of grief prior to the game. I had picked the Patriots and Belichick and Mac Jones to beat Tom Brady, and it had not been for that kick. I mean, a lot of people thought that game was going to be a lot more out of hand than the final score was. And, I know after the game, there was a real brief encounter there in the field between Bill Belichick and Tom Brady. I heard there was also a 20-minute time they had in the locker room together after the game. Of course, I was private. Nobody's saying a word. No recorders, no reporters, no nothing was in the room, so we'll never know. That was just one between Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. But the game was everything it was built to be. We even had some rain, and wow. That's all I can say is wow about that game.
Yeah, a couple of things. I agree. Mac Jones looks so polished. Man, He looks good. He just looks good. He looks good in that system. He looks like he believes in himself. His team looks like they believe in him. I thought he very clearly outplayed Tom Brady. I'll just say it. I thought that he outplayed him, and I thought he showed a lot of poise. Brady very easily could have lost that game if the kicker hits that 56-yarder. I, too, was surprised Belichick didn't consider going for it on 4th and 3. Of course, Antonio Brown did drop a ball from Brady that he normally would catch for Antonio Brown in the end zone. But Tom Brady easily could have lost that game. That was a game up until the final minute of Monday night, of Sunday night. And I got to tell you, there's a lot of people that thought that was going to be a blowout. Here's one of the things I noticed that you actually called during last week's Dirty Pocket episode. I was watching, particularly in the red zone, Belichick actually fooled Brady a couple times.
Yeah.
He fooled him. You could see it in the red zone. And I've actually heard a couple of other media heads commenting on it, particularly Bucky Brooks, commenting on it. You could see that Belichick had thrown in some wrinkles that fooled even Tom Brady, particularly in the red zone.
Absolutely. And I remember hearing some comments during the game, too, that Bill was shifting into some different defenses. I mean, obviously, all the quarterbacks come up pre-snap, pre-read, but then he shifted into something completely different after the snap. So he made Tom, I think the announcer said it was Collinsworth, and one of them said that, he's really making Tom earn his paycheck tonight because it was all he could handle because it was different looks all the time. And that's the beauty of this thing. This is like a master chess match, like one of those championship chess matches you see on ESPN that has very low ratings. But nonetheless, it's very strategic. But that's what this was. And absolutely. I mean, I said, even in an article prior to the game, I said that, Belichick is going to expose. Belichick is a master at finding weaknesses in opponents, okay? If you have a weakness, so is Charlie Weiss was a master at this. If you have a weakness, he is going to find it. And he knows Tom Brady as well, if not better than Tom Brady, because he built Tom Brady into what he became and what he is. So, yeah, there's some times where he kind of knew in the red zone that what button to push and what to do, and let's test this, let's see this, and I don't know if Bill even slept all week, to be honest with you. It was an incredible performance, no question, by both sides.
Yeah, it was good stuff. I agree. I think that one thing all football fans, whether you love or hate those guys, can agree is those two coming together is incredibly special.
Yeah.
The two of them, rather, together is a lot better than the two of them apart, despite the fact that Brady's gotten another Super Bowl. But that's a whole bunch of other factors we won't get into here. Real quickly, before we leave the mighty Patriots, oh boy, your guy Jamie Collins finds a job. Certain guy on this podcast called that last week, the white-haired guy right here, that he would go back to New England, and they re-signed him today. Wow, what a mind-blower. And then Stephen Gilmore gets cut. I mean, Bill Belichick is ruthless, man. He's ruthless. So Collins, on his third stint, what a career arc he's had. Leaves for Cleveland, leaves for Detroit, back to New England. Is that
what you're calling it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm trying to be nice.
I'm calling it a robbery.
I know you have. You've had some pretty significant articles. By the way, check out Daniel's articles on NFL Draft Diamonds. Some really good one in the last 48 hours or so on Bill Belichick once again pulling it over on the league and landing a quarterback of Mac Jones' talent. So Patriot land is changing, my man. Gilmore is now a Panther, and Jamie Collins is back in the locker room. And, God, that's a weird organization. Let's see what happens in the post-Brady era. I think they're in good hands with your boy, number 10. Mac Jones.
Yeah, absolutely. That Jamie Collins thing is just mind blowing to me. You rarely see me speechless on a show, but that Jamie Collins thing. I mean, you're talking to someone who worked with Coach Belichick for 2 years on staff with the Jets, and I don't know. I don't know. I would have touched him with a 10-foot pole. And then Gilmore, on the other hand, Gilmore's another guy that I wrote about last year for the Detroit Lions and Sports Illustrated, who started to show that he was letting his foot off the gas a little bit at times. And this is a guy that was a big-time player in 18 and 19, came back in 20 when I looked at him for the Lions, because there were some rumblings, would Matt Patricia and Quinn trade for him from Belichick last year. But he was targeted, I think, 15 times and allowed 10 catches, and didn't look like the Stephen Gilmore at all of the past, and started letting his foot off the gas. So Bill kind of, he ships out one guy to Carolina for a 6th-round pick, who's kind of like, maybe on the more the downside of his career, or at least appears to be. And then he brings in a guy who I don't know if he even has a gas pedal. It's just all brakes.
Yeah, I got to tell you, I took a look at your article from last year too. I thought it was spot on. And we don't always agree, but that one, you nailed it. I do think he's a good player. I don't think he's an elite player. You actually make that comment in your article. And I personally have always found Gilmore to be a little overrated. Not that he's a bad player. I just don't think that he's quite the player everyone else thinks.
Big name.
Yeah, Defensive Player of the Year. That was fantastic. It was a great year. He had a lot of interceptions. Yeah, that year. But overall, it should have been Aaron Donald that year too. But that's another conversation. We'll have
Who's
some
he play
time.
for? Who's he play for?
He happens to play for those Los Angeles Rams.
Strange.
Yeah, I know. It's amazing, isn't it?
Absolutely.
But interesting times in Patriot Nation. Okay, moving quickly, just kind of some rapid fire on our rookie quarterbacks. They're a favorite subject of ours here at the Dirty Pocket every week. And I got to tell you, man, Zach Wilson gets a win. He had a QBR of 97.3. We saw some really nice athletic throws out of Zach this last Sunday. You're not changing your mind. You're not coming on board with me that we've got a developing Brett Favre-esque type player here. You're not with me on this. Are you sure you're
drinking just water? It's not
just
vodka?
Water. It's not
vodka. They mentioned Zach Wilson in the same breath as Brett Favre.
I'm talking gunslinger. Look at that arm, man. He had a couple of throws this past Sunday that were really nice.
That's like mentioning a Neil Armstrong in the same breath as somebody who flies a kite.
Oh, man, that's rough.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Rough. Come on, it's week 4. It's week 4 for Zach Wilson.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, a better week, yes. Jury's still on that one, and it'll always be out for me because I'm not buying into any of it. But a better week and a big win for the Jets. Let's leave it on a positive note this week.
Okay, good. And just rapid clicking through some of these guys. Trevor Lawrence, almost got a W, didn't last Thursday night. Justin Fields.
Looked a little better, yeah.
Looked a little better. Justin Fields is named the starter in Chicago as Matt Nagy tries desperately to save his job. Your guy, Trey Lance, looks like he's going to be the starter in San Francisco due to Garoppolo being injured.
Good. Yes. I can't wait. I can't wait for this one because I came out with an article this week for Draft Diamonds saying that Trey Lance will get Kyle Shanahan fired. That's right. Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait for this. No more gadget plays, no more sprinkling him in, no more keeping everyone from guessing what he really or knowing what he really is. We're going to get him right under center because last week against Seattle, he threw a couple he flirted with a couple more interceptions here and there with the defensive backs batting him away. I can't wait because Trey Lance is an athlete first, trying to be a quarterback. And when you trade 3 number 1 draft picks for a guy who's basically a glorified option quarterback, good luck to you.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue with that. I'm as old school as they get, I guess, as a fan, same as you. I think that's nuts to give up that kind of draft capital. I think that there was a lot of hand-wringing behind closed doors. You've gone into it in all your articles. Check them out, folks, NFL Draft Diamonds. The other big news that we just have to touch on, although again, it gets messy in the pocket.
Sure does. Especially with me coming off the edge.
Yeah.
Yeah, because all the national narratives try to keep that pocket real clean and try to control what's being said, but I'm always coming off the edge. And that's why my articles are usually rated 1, 2, 3, or 4, or 5 on all the Google News, on all the stories I write about, because I'm coming right off the edge like Lawrence Taylor, baby.
Yeah, I mean, I'm dying to spend some time maybe on a very, out of the box episode between this week and next. We'll talk about that, but I'd love to hear what you have to say about Matt Stafford. I saw a lot of Detroit Lions Matt Stafford this last Sunday, where he blows my mind with a throw, and then he throws two where you go, what?
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm already starting to get nervous about that. Subject for another show. But let's talk about this Urban Meyer thing, man. And give me a second here. I think you wrote a really courageous article where you've said, like all of us guys, like all of us people in this world, we've had our own times, our own pitfalls that we're not proud of, and we do some stupid things. Urban Meyer did something really stupid. I mean, this is just stupid, and it's probably not the first time. Has he learned a lesson? What do you think is going to happen as a guy who's come out of an NFL organization with that locker room? Trevor Lawrence is on record today saying, that's my coach. I still respect him. But there's a lot of reports that there's a bunch of guys literally laughing at his face, or in his face, rather, about this situation. I thought your article was poignant, man.
Thank you.
What are your thoughts on this situation?
Well, I think the number one thing that has to happen here, and this is what my article was geared towards, Stacy, was, Trent Baalke, the current acting general manager of the Jacksonville Jaguars, somebody who I work with at the New York Jets. Baalke came into the NFL the year after I did with the Jets. I still remember the day they walked him in there for his interview when he became a scout with the Jets. And it's wow, time flies when you're having fun.
Surreal.
It is surreal, but I think where's Trent in all this, because I think as the acting general manager of the team, I'm hoping to see him step forward and kind of put together a united front, because that's the head coach. Okay, here's the situation, and that's what I asked myself when I wrote that article for Draft Diamonds. Is that okay? I mean, everybody talks about being a GM. It's about drafting players, signing free agents. Sometimes it's about crisis management. Sometimes something happens, somebody gets sick, something happens, a situation breaks. I mean, these are people, right? Okay, just people on a big stage. And so when something like this happened, like with Urban Meyer, what do you do if you're in this situation and you're 4 or 5 weeks into the season and something like this happens? Because it can happen to any team. It can happen to anyone. The NFL is full of temptation. If you don't believe me, go to the NFL scouting combine sometime. You go to about one of 3 different bars. You can see just about anybody who's anybody in the National Football League, basically almost falling into a wall or off a chair or I mean, it's a lot of stuff out there. Okay. I've been there. I've seen it. Okay. I've seen it with my own eyes. I've seen Rich Eisen at the bar. I've seen it all. And I'm not saying he did anything, but
we love Rich. No,
we do. But here's the thing: is what do you do in this type of a situation, Stacy? And so I would really like to see, and I'm hoping to see, like I said, I'm hoping to see Trent Baalke, kind of rally the troops. And I think this is the time when the Jacksonville Jaguars can actually become a team, because it's easy to run this guy out of town. But let's face the reality of it: this guy has won national championships. He obviously knows what he's doing. And, it's just, I think it's a real opportunity there. I think it's a real opportunity, because if they don't take the opportunity, if they don't become a team right now, Stacey, what's going to happen is this thing is going to run off the rails, and it's going to go off the edge of a cliff. And that's really frightening if you're Trevor Lawrence right now, because they've already downed the receiver last week. He got hurt. If there's no continuity in the team, everything starts falling apart. This could become a real problem. So I think this is where I want to see the general manager. This is where I want to see him really grab the bull by the horns, and he needs to, because he's the one voice we really haven't heard anything from.
Wow, we're seeing like a softer, gentler Daniel Kelly on this issue, which is somebody just going to show we're balanced. I mean, we're balanced. This is a terrible thing. I'm not going to get into the morality of it. Mm-hmm. We'll try to stick to the football side of it. I agree with you. I think he's in a real crisis situation. In every crisis, there's opportunity. So step up. Let's see what happens here. I'm starting to have my doubts that Urban Meyer goes beyond this year, and I think it has more to do with Trevor Lawrence development than this crisis, but nonetheless, God, what terrible timing. And I encourage people to take a look at your article on NFL Draft Diamonds if they haven't done that. I thought it was poignant. I thought it was human. It was real. And I think that's important. The unfortunate thing with Urban is he's just got a long history of just boneheaded, stupid things. I mean, the interview, you probably saw it a year or two ago, where he doesn't realize that he's in a room with a guy that the whole world can see in a reflective mirror, and it looks like he's taking bong hits. And Urban's trying to get him to go off, and they're on live TV. I mean, he's just got kind of some shady stuff around him, and maybe this wakes him up. He better wake up, because he won't last in the NFL. Shad Khan is said to be very embarrassed by this situation. So I want to get your take, and I thought that was a good article, man. And
Thank you.
I want to tip my hat to you and encourage everybody to read that. We're all vulnerable creatures, and hoping the best for the Jags, man. Urban better pull it together.
It's an opportunity. That's what it comes down to. It's an opportunity to become a team. And that's really what I saw here. And because really at this point, even before this happened, Jacksonville's 0-4. They're not a team yet. And you become a team. You can see some teams become. I mean, just because you're a football team doesn't mean that you're a team.
Yeah, no, that's so true. And anybody that's ever played, whether it's Pop Warner or been at the NFL level like you have been, knows that culture is critical. It's critical. You could see it in teams that have been losing. Look at the poor Detroit Lions, man, and what Dan Campbell's trying to reverse over out there and his staff. So that's just a huge part of it. Okay, moving along to another subject that you have no opinions on, and I'm sure you're going to be extremely level-headed about this.
You just got done complimenting me.
We're all about the edges, man. We're about the edges of the pocket here.
Here I come.
Here comes your guy, Micah Parsons. The Cowboys go out and cut Jaylon Smith, who's a feel-good story, coming out of Notre Dame. Massive knee injury in his last game. Sits out a year, comes back, performs fairly well for the Cowboys. Not a superstar, but made a Pro Bowl. They cut him today. 4 weeks into the season. I don't know if this has more to do with your guy, Micah Parsons, who you are all over, and he seems to be a little thin-skinned as of today. He's tweeting out, the analysts are ridiculous. They know nothing about the game. This was just a few hours before this recording.
Who's he talking about, Stacey? Who's he talking about?
I immediately thought, does he know Daniel Kelly?
Yeah, the loudest critic in America? Is that who you mean?
I mean, people are singing his praises, though. I mean, he's got 17 tackles, 2.5 sacks.
What, they watching the games blindfolded?
I don't know. My question to you is this. Are they cutting Jaylon Smith because your guy, Micah Parsons, who I know you are not big on, they want to advance him along? Or are they really in love with Jabril Cox, who they got, I thought, as a steal in the draft, and they want to insert him into the starting lineup and start to develop him? What's going on here? Is Micah Parsons, because when I look at Micah Parsons, man, I'm starting to get that Hollywood Henderson late 70s feel. Like a lot of mouth, a lot of talking. And I'm not as bad down on him as you are. I think he's got a lot of athleticism, but his history seems to say, man, you better funnel this the right way. What say you?
Well, he does have a lot of ability, Stacey. You're right. I mean, this is why pre-draft, before Dallas ever took him on Draft Diamonds, I came out with an article that said he's an explosive underachiever. So he has the burst, he has the speed, he has the athleticism from the neck down, but then you go from the neck up, and he's somebody that is a gross underachiever. I mean, I have somebody in the league that told me he reminds that gentleman of Lawrence Taylor, and I got in an argument with this person on the phone. I said, Lawrence Taylor used to blow through the offensive tackle, the tight end, and the running back, a route to your quarterback. This guy is soft as toilet paper at the point of attack. Micah Parsons, I'm talking about. This guy, when he hits into an offensive lineman, the offensive lineman's shoelaces don't even move. This guy is so incredibly unexplosive and so incredibly physically weak for a linebacker. I mean, he doesn't move anybody. Now, if he can kind of, finesse somebody, or he can, kind of get through an opening where there's no blocks, sure, absolutely. But I mean, this guy's claim, okay, let's stop for a minute. Micah Parsons, here we go, Stacey. Micah Parsons' claim to fame is beating Chargers right tackle Storm Norton. Storm Norton was drafted by an XFL team, okay? This is what we're talking about. When Micah Parsons went up against Rashawn Slater, pardon my French, but he got his ass whooped. Okay, against a rookie versus rookie. So I don't like Parsons at all. I think if you want to see bad football, go back and watch. And somebody made a point that a lot of times fans just watch where the ball is. Go back on NFL Game Pass and pull the game tape from the Carolina Dallas game and just watch number 11. Watch him. Watch him on those 2 touchdown runs by Sam Darnold when he just stands there like he bought a ticket to the game and watches Darnold run into the end zone. Watch the 3rd and 1. Watch the 4th and 1 when they had him installed at inside linebacker and he just stood there and watched. Okay, this is what we're talking about. Now, he's not like Lawrence Taylor. This guy is like the second coming of Jamie Collins, Stacy. Okay, this guy,
not even an Alden Smith. We can't throw him Alden Smith had a couple good years in it. No, This guy, Micah Parsons, I charted against, and I'm not just coming out and just shooting my mouth off that he can't play, okay? When I went back and watched a Chargers game, and I wrote an article about this for Draft Diamonds, I charted 22 plays where are you, Micah? You're soft as tissue. You're taking plays off. You owe the Cowboys a refund on half your game check type of playing against Tampa Bay. Guess who allowed 2 touchdown passes because he couldn't even handle a simple play action fake by Tom Brady, and he opened up the throwing window behind him, and he almost allowed a 3rd touchdown that game, had the other guy not come in from the side and made the guy fumble as he was going into the end zone. So, yeah, Micah Parsons, no way. He may say that the critics are out there and they don't know what they're talking about. Micah, guess what? I'm watching every single play. Turn up your radio. Turn up your computer, Micah. Come on here, okay? Because I will go on anybody's show in America, Stephen A. Smith, ESPN, NFL Network. I will go up against any general manager in the National Football League, put Mike on there, put his dad on there, put everybody on there, okay? Because I'm telling you right now, okay, this is sorry football. This is sorry football. And if I was a general manager of the Dallas Cowboys, guess who else would be cut today? Oh, man.
Guess who else would be cut?
He was a top 10 draft pick, man. Here we go again.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I can't even, I don't even have words for this, okay? Because if there's one thing that annoys me and one thing that sets me off in the National Football League is guys who steal a paycheck from the organization. And right now, Micah Parsons is stealing money from Jerry Jones.
Bold statements, man. If you're listening...
Watch 11.
Mr.
Watch
Parsons.
number 11. Watch number 11. I want everybody in America. I want the Cowboys nation. I challenge the Dallas Cowboys fan nation. Watch number 11 this week. And I want 30, 40, 50,000 fan letters going to Mr. Jerry Jones. And I want you to tell him what you think of the lazy Micah Parsons. Watch him every play. Watch him stand there. Watch him barely hit the offensive lineman and watch him take plays off. Sure, every once in a while he may do something, but 75 to 80% of the time, he is like a fan in the upper decks.
Okay. I should have known better to even start down this road. But hey, I'm going to say this. He's 4 games into his career. Okay. My initial response to that, I watched the All-22 as well. I do not think he's good in space. Not yet. He's good coming off the edge in some cases. Don't ever compare anyone to Lawrence Taylor. I don't know who said that, but they were categorically insane. There will never be another Lawrence Taylor.
This guy couldn't even hold Lawrence Taylor's lunch for him in the cafeteria.
It's insane. LT he changed the game. So I think Mike has got a ways to go, but I think this is really interesting. He even came out today on Twitter and said, stop asking me what my position is. I'm a football player. I mean, this is all within the last 24 hours. So clearly he's feeling some of that feedback.
Feel it, Micah. Feel it.
Yeah,
I feel it.
I know you're real.
Oh, hey, if I happen to be on the team, running the team that Micah's on, I'll tell him what position he'll play. He'll play not on my team. It's a position he'll play.
Draft picks.
So if he thinks these little analysts who have no NFL experience are starting to get on his nerves, guess what? I'll be watching every play. I got the pen and paper, and I'm highly ranked in Google. And if you take plays off, Micah, it's going to be all over the media every single week.
Yeah, it looks like the Cowboys have a plan. I mean, I think the spotlight's
So
going to
do
be
I.
on him and Jabril Cox. I think Smith's gone. I think Van Der Esch will be gone after this season. So
Yeah, they're
his day
not
in
big
the
on Van Der Esch. They're not big on him at all
no,
anymore.
no, and so that spotlight is going to be on him sooner than later. Let's move off Micah Parsons as we close out this week. We got to get into just some rapid fire pick'ems. At the time of this recording, as mentioned, it is late Wednesday night. Daniel does not need that rock star, as you can tell, but he is consuming it nonetheless. Give me your thoughts on some of the biggest games this week. I'm going to throw 2 or 3 at you. Browns Chargers. That's a bit of a hot matchup, just considering the Browns defense versus Justin Herbert and how he's heating up on offense.
Browns.
What do you think? You got the Browns.
Browns.
Not talking with the heart here. You're talking with the
Browns. It's what's going through my mind.
Okay.
Browns. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. He goes with the gut. I'm going to pick the Chargers, but I think this is going to be a slobber knocker, man. I think there's going to be blood, sweat, and tears in this game. And
here's the tattoo that says Believeland right there.
There you okay. There you go.
Yep,
little piece of you in every NFL city. So, I mean, Rashawn Slater graduates right up to Myles Garrett and Jadeveon Clowney. I'm looking forward to that game on Sunday. I'm going to pick the Chargers. You're picking the Browns. I think it'll be a close one. Here's an interesting matchup in battle of the young stud quarterbacks. Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills versus Pat Mahomes
Bills
and the Kansas City Chiefs. Bills. You seem to be leaning into the defenses with these picks a little bit.
Yeah, Bills. I'm a Buffalo Bills. I just admire what they're doing right there. And I like Josh Allen a lot, and I really like Dabo, the offensive coordinator of the Buffalo Bills. I think he's very creative with his play calling. And I don't know. Don't look now, but the Chiefs are in last place of the division, aren't they? I think they're listed in last place, 2-2. And they got some internal struggles, some things going on, I think, from what I can sense from afar. And I don't know. I just think right now the Buffalo Bills are the class of the AFC, and I'm taking Buffalo.
Yeah, I hate that Chiefs defense. That Chiefs defense is just miserable. I'm sorry. You take Honey Badger off there, I'm not sure what's going to go on.
And one more quick word about the Chiefs. I took a lot of heat about this during the Super Bowl. I took one look at Patrick Mahomes' eyes coming out of that tunnel, and I looked at my wife and I said, he's not going to win this game. He's going to lose. His eyes were not right. And I don't know. It's just something about that team right now. It's something about that situation I just don't think it's trending in the right direction, Stacey.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I've watched him every weekend, and I have come away unimpressed outside of the amazing athleticism of Patrick Mahomes and Tyreek Hill's ridiculous speed and Travis Kelce. Other than that defense, not good. Edwards-Helaire has had some rough outings with the fumbles. I think the Chiefs are going through a rough patch. In that game, I'm picking the Bills to win that game as well. So we agree on that one. Final game at the time of this, and hopefully this will be posted by the time folks get to listen in, but Rams, Seahawks to kick off the weekend. Who do you like in this game? It's in Seattle.
Rams.
And it's raining.
Rams.
All right.
Rams. I got one question for you, Stacey. I got one question because I mentioned this last week's show. How is it that the Rams make it into every episode? I mean, you told me last week we're going to be talking about the Washington football team. You said we're going to do that honor me, and now we're talking about today is Stafford. We're talking about the Rams again.
Come on now. I got a lot of thoughts on this. It's a whole other podcast with under another name, but no, I mean the Rams are in the top 5 power team, so they come up a lot. I wanted to talk about the Packers, but then I send you off on Aaron Rodgers' journey through hell, and I don't want to do that. I want to talk more about the Washington football team. Love what Heineke's doing. Really troubled by that defense. Really bums me out. I thought they would just be steel curtain-esque this year, and it has not transpired. So, yep, I lied. We're going to have to move that over to next week since we are running short on time. But
now is that top 5 in your power rankings or somebody else's?
No, that's NFL power rankings, my friend.
Because my son Isaiah, right, my little boy Isaiah, he has his own power rankings, and no matter how well Washington does, they're always 32nd on his power rankings.
Interesting how that works.
Yeah, it's real interesting. It's real. Yeah, it kind of reminds me of myself at his age.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I want to talk about the Arizona Cardinals too. Fool's gold or for real. I have a lot of questions. We'll have to get to them in another episode as we take in another weekend this weekend. Folks, welcome and thank you to all those that attend and listen here to the Dirty Pocket. It's crazy most weeks, and it's just going to get crazier as the season goes along. You can catch Daniel Kelly as writer for Sports Illustrated, covering the Detroit Lions, who are having a real rough time, folks, and on NFL Draft Diamonds, where, man, you are churning out more content and articles than I can keep up with personally. So check him out over there in NFL Draft Diamonds as well, where the Dirty Pocket is featured weekly. And you can catch me here with Daniel. I'll be drinking water while he's drinking his fifth energy drink. And also as podcasting host of Gridiron Icon. So, folks, thanks for joining us. Daniel, I look forward to getting your takes after another weekend of football. God knows what's going to happen this weekend. So stay tuned, folks.
Yeah, expect the unexpected. Thank you for joining us today, and enjoy the games. Thank you, everybody.
All right. From the Dirty Pocket, signing off. We'll see you next week.
Sounds good. Set up.